Round it to 2.5. What do you say, sir? 2.5 I have. At 2.5 is the offer. At 2,500,000 bid and offered. 25 can I say, sir? At 2,500,000. At 2.5 and 10. There you are. Back in. Good to see you, madam. At 2.5 and 10. At 2,510 and 520. At 520 and 30. 530's here. At 530,000. 530, 540. 2,540, 550. At 550's a bid. 560. 570. 570 I have. 580. 580, 590. 590 round to 6. 2.6 I have. At 2.6 is a bid. Who needs an auctioneer? Just call amongst yourselves, guys. At 2.6 I have. At $2,600,000 bid and offered. Still taking your attention time from there. At 2.6. At $2,600,000. First call. At $2,600,000. Second call. At $2,600,000. Third. And 5. 605. At 2,605. 10 can I say? At 605 is here. Pardon, sir?
I just need to make a call.
Please do, sir.
Oh, come on, he's had 4 weeks.
2,605. Patience, sir. We'll be with you in a moment. At 2,605.
Plenty of time.
At 2,605. At 2,605. Anyone else can feel free to jump in with a bid as well. We've been very quiet over here for a while. At 2,605. At 2,605 I have. Are we back in now for 5, sir? At 2,605. At 605 and 10 can I say? At 2,605. First call now. At 2,605.
2,620.
2,620. Good bid, sir. At 2,620. 625. 625's the bid. 630 can I say, sir? At 625. At 625 I have.
Just hold on for a minute.
Will do, sir. In your own time. At 2,625. Just chat amongst yourselves. At 625. At 2,625 I have. First call now against you now, sir, at 2,625. Here in front at 2,625,000. Second call now, sir, at 2,625. Sir, I'd hate to see you miss it. At 2,625,000. Third and final call at 2,625,000. Sir, really need your attention now, sir. At 2,625. Third and final call at 2,625. What a magnificent property, ladies and gentlemen.
You're entitled to your
just
opinion.
the very thought of living here makes you feel like putting your hand up, doesn't it, at 2,625? This is cheap for this property, I would have thought, at 2,625. Exceptional buying. You know what? It's worth getting on the phone, I tell you. Everyone feel free to get out and have a chat with the bank manager. At 625. 30 I have. 5, sir?
1,000.
Take your 1. 626. 2,626. 626. 630. 2,630 I have. At 2,630,000, 631 is here. 631. What about 2, sir? At 631. Or you're my strong bidder. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Auctioneer, this is supposed to be a public auction. What's this bloke on about? Can we hear what he's saying?
Sir, I have specific instructions to sell under 30
Mr. Auctioneer,
days here
this is a
today.
public auction.
Yep, I'll certainly let you know how it goes, sir. Sir, I have specific instructions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to step forward and have a quick chat with the vendor for just one moment. I've asked for a variation in settlement. Let's speak with my vendor for one moment. That's fine. Okay. Just going to clarify that for everyone, particularly yourself there, sir. That is confirmed. The bid is here at 2.7 and those settlement terms are fine for you. So the bid is here at 2.7. It's against you now, sir. At 2.7 I have. At 2,700,000 bid and offered now. At 2,700,000 I have. You're out, sir. At 701. At 701 now. At 2,701. At 2,701,002 can I say. At 2,701. You're out, sir. At 2,701,000. Keep talking to him. At 2,701. At 2,701,000, sir. We've met your settlement conditions. Surely you're not going to miss it now. At 2,701. At 2,701,000, you're out, sir. At 2,701, you can't be out, sir. The crowd wants more. At 2,701. At $2,701,000. First call now. At 2,701. My instructions are clear. The property is on the market. We are selling. It's going to be sold, ladies and gentlemen, at $2,701,000. First call at 2,701,000. Against you now, sir, at 2,701,000. Second call against you now, sir, at 2,701,000. You've been through the property 3 times. The kids love it. They spoke about the pool. The school's just around the corner. For $1,000, sir. 702, good bid, sir. Good to have you back in at 702. At 2,702,000, but I'll get 3 from you, I know. 703. 2,710,000, good bid. Now I'm getting excited. At 2,710,000, 11's here. Got 11 here in front. At 711, 12. 712's here. 13 I have. At 2,713,000, 14 can I say, sir? At 2,713,000, at $2,713,000. First call now. We are selling at 2,713,000. You've been with me all the way, sir. Magnificent property. The 4 split levels. The 60-foot boat just around the corner could be at 2,713,000. Second call now at 2,713,000. At 2,713,000. Third and final call. 14. Good to have you back in. 714 I have. At 714, 15 can I say? At 714, is there 15 here? You're out, sir. All you've got to do is put 1 on top. At 2,714,000, at $2,714,000. The keys are here in front. First call now at 2,714,000. Second call at 2,714,000 here in front. You're still on the phone, sir? At 2,714,000. Third and final call, selling now at 2,715,000 on the death knock. At 715, at $2,715,000. At 2,715,000, at $2,715,000, and the boat was almost in the marina, sir. At 2,715,000, at 2,715,000 I have, and 16 can I say? At 2,715,000, 715, 16, got 716 now. 716, 17 can I say, sir? Or you're my strong bidder. Round me to 720. What do you say? At 716, looking for 17 now. At 716's the bid. At 2,716,000 here in front. Bid me bold, sir, at 2,716,000. 2,716,000. 1 on top, can I say, sir? First call against you now. 2,716,000 here in front at $2,716,000. First call at 2,716,000. Against you now, sir, at 2,716,000. Second call now at $2,716,000. Third and final call. Against you now, sir, selling at $2,716,000. 17. Is that a bid, sir? Confirm the bid? 717. Good bid. At 2,717,000. At 2,717,000. You know what I do, sir? I jump in with a bold knockout bid. At 2,717,000. At 717's the bid. Just pop another 1 on top, sir. 717. What about 720? At 717. Have a think about it. I'll come back to you in a moment, sir. Bids here in front at 2,717,000. Sir, haven't heard from you for a while. At 2,717,000. Are you back in for 1? At 2,717,000. Bids here in front now. Selling now, ladies and gentlemen, at 2,717,000. First call at 2,717,000. Against you now, sir. Second call against you now at 2,717,000. Third and final call at 2,717,000. Done. Are you out, sir? Thank you for your bidding here today at 2,717,000. Sir, for $1,000, you're out as well. I do thank you for your bidding here today. Selling now at $2,717,000. First call, second call, third and final call at 2,717,000. Going, and sold! Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Toop and Toop Real Estate, congratulations to our purchaser, a magnificent buyer here this afternoon. Commiserations to our underbidders. We do appreciate your spirit of bidding. Thank you very much, and please do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.